So hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Now today we are going to be doing a Nokia 5.3 review. So I haven't done I unboxed this, 2 weeks and 3 days ago. Exactly, I worked that out. And so here is my experience with 2 weeks of this phone. Now, if you hear some banging noise outside, excuse that. That is not anything going on here. It's just the fact it's New Year's Eve today. So I thought, why not do a video to wrap up 2020 and do it on New Year's Eve. So I hope you guys enjoy this video, this New Year's Eve special. Oops. Okay, so let's go straight into the pros. So the pros of this wonderful phone, as I will show you here, is the screen size is decent for for this phone. It's perfect with a 6.55-inch display. It has great battery life, which I've taken out of my 2 weeks and 3 days of use. And the screen, I think, looked nice enough for me. You still have the option of an SD card, like my old phone. It's lightweight to me. I mean, maybe some other people won't think so. And you still unlock the phone without typing in your passcode, and I'm going to come into this one later. So let me just go into the specs. So the specs of this thing is a Qualcomm Snapdragon 665 processor, a 6.55-inch display, yes, and 4 cameras on the back, as you can see, with a quad camera setup with the flash in the middle. Oops. So let's go into some cons as well. So sometimes it's a bit large, and you know, when you're using it with one hand it's not as great. Animations can sometimes be laggy, but that could just be due to one of my wallpapers. There are no new ringtones, and there are lack of updates, which I'll talk about later as well. So let's go into the good stuff about the usage. So all the good experiences I've had with the usage. So it is lightweight, and the screen is large enough to see things with the 6.55-inch display. It has some loudspeakers, which is good enough. Not that I need loudspeakers. The screen is good, enough for what I need. It looks very nice and professional, and works fast enough for what I do, which is not a lot. So I don't really do a lot on my phone, not as much. And well, this phone does serve me good enough. Calls are great, so you won't have any problems with that. It also has dual SIM functionality, as you see here. Will the camera focus? No. But you can see 2 SIMs, and if I pull down the notification center, then you can see that it says there Tesco M3. I have the dark mode enabled. So I use 2 different cards to communicate with people, as I said. The battery life is great again, but I will come into that later. So I'm going to do separate categories throughout this video. It is more difficult to mistype on this big screen because it's easier to type on because it's bigger, more spaced out. And also, with the current situation going on in 2020, which I can't mention for reasons, YouTube's policy, even though I'm not on YouTube, but before I knew what was going on, we have to go and wear masks in places, and of course Face ID will not recognize them. Now that I'm in the house, it will of course recognize me and open up, as you see here. But out now in shops and places, Face ID will not work, and as you can see, Face ID works fast. I will talk about that later. And but because this phone also has Touch ID as well on the back, as you probably saw earlier when I was showing it, there it is. That's the fingerprint sensor. That means that you can also use Touch ID to open your phone. And this is a real big problem, and people have been testing on it, that masks will not work on Face ID on the iPhone, because the iPhone only has Face ID. The new ones, I mean. This old one here, my iPhone 6s, this one is, of course, it has Touch ID installed into the button. But newer of them don't. Not that I have new iPhones, but people have been testing. I've seen this on YouTube, such as the Wall Street Journal and Joanna Stern. And basically, for iPhone users, masks equal no Face ID. For this phone having Touch ID and Face ID, which means we can use them, that is a big benefit. And most Android phones, though, do have Touch ID and some Face ID. Most Touch ID, I think it's some Face ID. So now let's go on to the bad stuff about this phone. So the things that I thought they could have improved. So the occasional lagging in animation is a bit of a disappointment, but as I said, it could be due to the wallpaper. As you see here, it doesn't seem to be lagging in it. I haven't had to restart it in a while, so I have a feeling it could have just been the wallpaper, because it was a different wallpaper that I had before. The camera is okay, but we'll get into that later, as normal, since I said we'll do categories. The fact that the screen is big and it's hard to reach things at the top. Now, they should have implemented something, which is quite a disappointment. They should have implemented something like iOS. So on the iPhone 6s, this is not big, but it's big if you hold it with one hand. So as you can see, it's rather difficult to reach things up here. So you just double tap the home button, and now I have easy reachability to the top areas. But unfortunately, this phone doesn't have that. So that means I'm struggling to reach things at the top because it's a big screen. And even though this phone is made by Android One, it still should have that feature. Like Nokia could have stepped in or done something like that. So when you would, and also another thing for this thing is they also could have added some new ringtones. Now, you know, like the old days when you used to get a Nokia phone, you'd get it, boot it up, you'd be so excited, put in the battery, boot it up, charge it up, whatever, and then after that, then all day you could listen and listen to ringtones and everything. Whereas this phone just has the same ringtones, which means I have to then go and download my own ringtones and put them on the phone, which I think is a disappointment because they're not bringing back the nostalgia of the old Nokia phones, which could be a thing. Now, let's go on to the single category. So, the camera. So this camera setup, I'm not sure which order they're in, so you have to excuse me, but I know one is a primary, 13 megapixel. Another one is a 2 megapixel depth sensor. A 5 megapixel wide angle sensor. That's okay, that's livable. And a 2 megapixel macro. Honestly, I think the camera is okay, but it could be better. Now, I will show you some shots that I made at the first attempt of this video. You can see it's not very stabilized, but overall it's not that bad. Because I attempted it once, but I thought it was an absolute disaster, and to be honest, I added a lot more things now to this video that I would say than before. So, you know. And, you know, The macro is ridiculous. 2 megapixels for a macro is useless. Just don't put it in there. I don't know why. That was an absolutely useless idea. Or if they wanted to, camera cuts out, they could have made the camera a bit better on this phone. Okay, I've got 15 minutes, so I need to hurry up. So I need to cut out these things. So the 5 megapixel wide angle sensor is good. I use that sometimes. And it takes decent shots. The primary lens is fine, decent shots. The night mode and the portrait mode are good as well, but of course everything could be better. The front facing camera, however, whereas I can see the difference, and between my old Nokia 4.2's front camera. So this thing has a 8 megapixel front facing camera, whereas just my old Nokia 4.2 has a 5 megapixel, which is still good, but you know, it's always good for the improvement. Now let's move on to battery life. So decent battery, it gets me through the day, and I don't have any problems where I need to keep charging it, like with this phone, the 4.2. I never tested the 2-day battery life, but I'm pretty sure I even forget when I charge my phone, because sometimes it's just so long I forget, because I'm used to just charging it and thinking that, oh, I didn't really get too much use out of the 4.2. And even when the 4.2 was new, I never got a lot of usage out of it. Anyway, let's get back to the video. So I didn't test out that 2 days battery life, but I don't think what I've seen from this phone, I will take Nokia's word for it. And if you stretch it, I'm pretty sure you'd make it 2 days. Now, the biggest thing for me is it doesn't drain overnight, because my 4.2 used to drain overnight, which is not good. It does not take long to charge the battery even from low. Not the fastest, could be faster, but it's not so long. I've never depleted the battery completely. Video chat doesn't really matter too much, but it won't drain as fast. But of course over time it will drain a bit, but it won't drain like drastically, even just if you do a 30-minute call. Not that I do too much video chatting. So let's get into Face ID. So Face ID, I will show you here, is fast and it's useful. Sometimes it even works in most of all lighting conditions, and also it sometimes works even when I don't want it to. So, you know, it's pretty good. Touch ID, again, fast, does the job, as you can see here. And it opens up the phone reasonably fast, and you can use it with the screen off. So the screen is off here, as you can see. I haven't awakened it. And I just touch it, and it comes up, which is good. So, speed and performance. Now the speed of this phone is fast enough. It can be a bit stuttery, like I said, but it's a cheap and budget phone. So what could be expected? Sounds and speakers. So it has a great earpiece, so you have nice clear phone calls. No one has complained of any problems at their end of the line, and I don't complain, so I think it's good enough. The bottom speaker is good enough, and I think it's good enough for the phone. So if you don't care too much about being, oh, you need to have the clearest, clearest crystal speaker, then you don't really need, then this phone is fine for you. If you do care, then you would need to consider another phone. And yeah, updates and support. Now this is a disappointing part. So the updates are appalling, I'm afraid to say. And this is not really the phone's fault, it's Nokia's fault. Now, not much updates, and Nokia promised me Nokia promised Android 11 in Q4 of this year. And mind you, this is now, well, I mean, they did say sort of Q4 and Q1, but I still don't think it's good enough, because September, lots of Android phones have already got well, some Android phones have already got Android 11, while I'm still sitting here waiting for Android 11. And I don't think this is good enough. And as you see, it's New Year's Eve, and it's haven't got it yet, which is not good. I mean, support is good enough. I mean, I get updates, not always monthly, but it always brings it up to date somehow. But the support is good. So, if you need support with the phone, that you can live chat or email or any of that stuff, it comes with My Phone app, which I will show you here. My Phone, here we go. So this is the My Phone app, and you can also get, of course, you could start shopping for a new phone. You can stay connected with HMD, because HMD make these phones. You can stay connected with their SIM card, and you can see there's insurance. And also, if you need support, you can just go on the support, and you can see user guide, support chat, blah blah blah. So yeah, and it tells you also in the monitor if your phone is healthy, and in the device monitor it shows all this stuff. So it shows memory usage, free internal storage, free external storage, device temperature, battery health. That battery health meter can be inaccurate. Signal strength, so at the moment I got 100% signal, which is great. And data usage, since I've turned on the phone. And now I find this funny. I found this quote on the web which says, Nokia is great with software updates. And I found this quite funny because, as I have found, it quite the opposite. Twice. Two experiences. So with my Nokia 4.2 and this 5.3, I have not got any better experience from this phone. And I'm going to talk some features. So the features and gestures, you have the double tap to wake, which is a good feature. You have the fingerprint sensor to get to the notification bar. So if I just open up the phone, if I want the notification bar, I could just pull down on the fingerprint sensor like that. Or maybe I don't have that gesture on. Appears I don't have the gesture on. Oh yeah, I do, look. It comes up, and I'm just going to prove to you. It's come down, see? So that I got that gesture on. And also, there is beauty mode in the cameras, which also is in those pictures that I made. And yeah, now let's go. Is it worth the money? So this is sort of, I'm starting to wrap up the video here. So I got this. The original cost of this phone is $149.99 in the UK, but with a discount, I got it for £126. If you don't care about the pictures, the performance, but the small little problems in the performance, like little gaps that probably updates will pull together. If you need it for light work, phone texting, that kind of stuff, like I do, then it's good. I found it good. And I mean, if you would let the camera and these few little problems slip by, it's not a problem. And well, you know, overall, aside from the few downsides and issues, hopefully it will do me well for longer, which I hope. Now, this is something that I need to tell you right now. So, I'm going to just show myself here. So, here I am. This is me. So, just note, warning, by the time this video comes out, which should be when I'm 13, in a whole long series, it will be past 2 years with me having this phone. And I do not recommend you to buy this phone as your daily driver, as it will be past the 2 years. It will start to be also ending support, Nokia. So it will sort of it would not be as great as a main phone. If you want an old phone, like for someone old who needs a starter phone, then I understand. But I repeat, this video is for entertainment purposes only. This is not for you to think to go out and buy this phone. So I've got 5 minutes to wrap up this video, since the camera cut out, and I think it's also telling me as well to wrap up the video. So this is the video. I hope you've enjoyed one of my reviews, and I hope to see you in 2021 when I do another video, which I have no idea what I'm going to do a video about. All I do know. Now, for my birthday, this is nothing to do with the end of the video. For my birthday, I bought myself a present, and I'm probably going to unbox it on my birthday, which is not long away. It's about, from now, 11 days, but from New Year's Eve, it's going to be 10 days, which is good. So, you should see that unboxing. I'm, of course, going to test it out, and see if it's good. And if it's not good enough, then I suppose I will update you guys on what's happening. And, yeah. So, I shall see you, I think, on my birthday. Since I've given out now the information, I hope to see you on my birthday, where I make a video about the thing I bought, which you will have to find out again. So, thanks for watching. Comment in this whole long series whether you liked it or not, or whatnot. Like the series, I don't know. And I shall see you in another video. Peace out.